How to turn your ability in cash. Part 3. You sprang from a cell invisible to the naked eye. This cell had the power within to think, and to build, and to do it in harmony with law and order. It used mathematics to determine the number of things necessary to make up your body. It used chemistry to determine the chemical properties necessary to nourish your body. It used physics to determine the energy necessary for your body. In a logical sequence, this cell drew on the forces of life, and through the division and the multiplication of other cells, built into orderly arrangement a human body. When completed, it demanded a birth certificate from your mother. At birth, 5 sense avenues were available to sponsor thinking. Eyes to see, ears to hear, nose to smell, tongue to taste, and touch to feel. To use these sense avenues, it was necessary to think. The accumulation of these sensations developed impressions. These impressions turned into knowledge. The perception was formed. You were aware of things. You could distinguish objects and recognize the sound. You had the ability to know, and the capacity to gain knowledge. One day along the line, memory dawned. You discovered the ability to recall events, remember names and faces, and retain information and knowledge. You had the capacity to observe, to concentrate, to remember, and to reason. You were a rational creature, able to censor and discipline your own acts. You were aware of yourself and conscious of your own identity. Who am I? Where did I come from? Why am I here? You were seeking the cause of tilings. What was their origin? What was the back of them? You were able to comprehend the invisible idea back of the visible thing. You could see the man in the vase, the artist in the picture, and the thought in the product. You were acquiring the ability to form ideas, to establish the relationship between cause and effect, and to have a conception of your own ability. You were beginning to understand. You were conscious of your power to think. Today that cell has developed into a human personality, and with the power to think is reviewing its own inception, its own development, its own ability, and its own advancement. This plan of development is the one that normal human beings follow. It proves that man is a thinking creature. It is a normal and natural attribute to think. From the moment of conception, a man is a thinking creature. In his early development, he followed certain definite laws of thinking in a natural way. The ability to be conscious of these laws should be an added incentive and an added inspiration to believe in them, to demonstrate and apply them in all activities. By adhering to the principle that he is a thinking creature, man can come to complete fruition of his power to think and to build. I believe it was Plato who said, "There is nothing great in the world except man, and there is nothing great in man except mind." The capacity of the mind to think is based on certain laws. There are 5 of these laws, and an understanding of them will give you the power to think and to build. The application of these laws will help to turn your ability into cash. Number 1. The law of observation. Man's first teacher was his eyes. He opened his eyes and marveled at the things he saw. By constant vigilance, he discovered he not only had an eye to see, but also a brain to interpret. He began to observe the things about him. He marveled at their existence. He noted the many changes in nature, and the repetition of the 4 seasons. He observed the sun and the moon and noted their various changes. He recorded these observations. They were passed along from generation to generation as basic knowledge. Thus, civilization was developed with its vast store of information, facts, science, and knowledge. Most of our books are recorded experiences based on observation, and interpreted in relation to other basic knowledge. What is observation? Observation is the act or faculty of observing or taking notice. It is the act of seeing or fixing the mind upon anything. It comes from the Latin word observare, which means to save, preserve or keep. The world is a panorama of passing events. It is crowded with people, things, words, and manifestations of nature. Each one affords an ample opportunity for observation and study. Take advantage of your surroundings, observe your environment, and make what you observe a part of your knowledge. Observation is the best teacher to develop social graces. It teaches courtesy, which is the act of being thoughtful and considerate of others. It teaches you not to walk in front of someone without saying a "pardon me." How will you turn your ability into cash? We would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.